Sir Jim, please, you're sitting up there. I don't expect Sir Jim to be sitting in the stands and watching this game and analyzing it like he's a pundit or he's some analytical guy in this game. You just watched your team play like shit at home. The fans were frustrated. You didn't win the game. Make the wise decision and start with a fresh manager.
But look at Tottenham today. No Sarr, no Basuma, no Maddison, no Son, no Kulusevski. 5 of their first team players out. And the football was excellent. Now, there was a lack of end product from the Brennan Johnsons, the Timo Werners, the Skips, the Højbjergs. Why? Because they're not the standard either. Really, I'm not convinced on Brennan Johnson just yet, but he is young. Spurs fans want all of those players really and truly replaced in the next couple of transfer windows for a high standard. But the patterns of play, the style was there. This is why I reject the notion that Man United can't play better football. I reject it with an absolute passion.
He kept Brennan Johnson quiet. What happened every time we got the ball? You had nothing going down that left-hand side unless it was a counterattack being played from Bruno to Rashford, because you have nothing on the left-hand side.
This manager is never going to be good enough to get us to the level that we want to go to.
And these guys come on today and they do this today. And people still want to make excuses for this manager. This manager's out of his depth. And as I said, he's a pussy because he approached the game trying to shut up shop and he still conceded 2 goals.
There is some people that view being a fan as being supportive, especially publicly. But for me, the lack of progression in our football, the way in which we were just dominated 63% of the ball to 36% at home in the Premier League, 8 shots to 16, 3 on target to 6 on target by a Tottenham B team with Timo Werner starting in it, and with a midfield of which half of which a lot of their fans want sold and out the club, tells you all you need to know. Old Trafford this afternoon, big points dropped for Man United, who led the game twice, courtesy of goals from Rasmus, Hojlund and Marcus Rashford. Tottenham were the better team, had the majority of the ball. They created the better opportunities in the game, and of course, in the title race, according to Big Ange Postecoglou, will be disappointed probably with the level of domination his side had in this game, conceding the way they did, but not capitalizing and getting all 3 points. And at the death, Man United had a chance to win it. And Scott McTominay again, just demonstrating that he isn't quite of that standard. Well, we're not even quite. We know he's nowhere near the standard, but even when it comes to getting those goals, he just isn't quite as clutch as we would all hope him to be. Should have buried that chance. United could have walked away as 3-2 winners in a game that I felt before the game started, we had an opportunity to win, but the game went exactly how I said it would, but we just didn't take that final chance. I knew we wouldn't be the better team. I knew Spurs would outperform us, but I knew we'd be able to score some goals. And I was really impressed with the front line in the first half. I thought Garnacho, Rashford, and especially Rasmus Hojlund were very, very dangerous indeed, especially Rasmus with his hold-up play. Everything today that I would expect from this boy, demonstrating what it is that he could become. And I thought we had the ability today, just to humble a few of those Spurs fans who have been coming for Man United recently, and we should have done it in the end exactly the way I thought we would. Not the better team, probably undeserving of a win, but nicking it nevertheless. But Scott McTominay couldn't take that chance at the end. Twice Man United collapsed and threw the game away. And am I surprised? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I understand that Man United have got a player or two missing. And this is all I keep hearing. And I know a lot of people love Ten Hag, but I've got to say this. Man United, yes, Lissandro's on the bench. Casemiro's out. Luke Shaw isn't available, as an example. You could throw Mount into the equation if you choose to, because he's a big signing for this manager. But we haven't had our players available. And that is always when the players come back, Man United will play better. But look at Tottenham today. No Sarr, no Basuma, no Maddison, no Son, no Kulusevski. 5 of their first team players out. And the football was excellent. Now, there was a lack of end product from the Brennan Johnsons, the Timo Werners, the Skips, the Højbjergs. Why? Because they're not the standard either. Really, I'm not convinced on Brennan Johnson just yet, but he is young. Spurs fans want all of those players really and truly replaced in the next couple of transfer windows for a high standard. But the patterns of play, the style was there. This is why I reject the notion that Man United can't play better football. I reject it with an absolute passion, because you cannot convince me that 6 or 7 of the outfield players for Tottenham today are by far and away technically more proficient than the Man United team that's played today, yet they move the ball better. Their patterns are there to be seen. Their shape is very, very good. They play better football. They're drilled to play better football. And that, for me, is the fundamental difference between the two clubs. Big Ange and their rebuild has only just begun, and you can see the foundations. You can see the green shoots of hope. The lack of overall quality in the team. You throw Son, Kulusevski, Maddison, Basuma, Sarr out on that pitch today, Man United, more likely than not, take an absolute battering. We have got players missing as well, but so have they. And at this moment in time, they've got more out than we do. But yet we're able to still score goals. Yet we still won 10 games this season, and that's because we have a lot of quality players in this team. But it is the system that is letting us down above and beyond everything else. Of course, there's players that need to be improved upon. The likes of Scott McTominay, we know he's not good enough. There's no way on earth that Johnny Evans should be a starting centre-back for Man United right now. AWB is technically awkward at right back, let alone playing at left back. So, of course, there are still holes in this squad to fix. I'm not coming out with some lame brain, redundant opinion that give a world-class manager this squad and we win the league. That isn't being said. But the lack of style from Manchester United is a huge, huge problem for us that we must address. We have to address it. It's the elephant in the room. But today should be that wake up and smell the coffee moment for Man United fans. I get back in your manager. I get back in processes. I get there is some people that view being a fan as being supportive, especially publicly. But for me, the lack of progression in our football, the way in which we were just dominated 63% of the ball to 36% at home in the Premier League, 8 shots to 16, 3 on target to 6 on target by a Tottenham B team with Timo Werner starting in it, and with a midfield of which half of which a lot of their fans want sold and out the club, tells you all you need to know. It tells you all you need to know. This manager is never going to be good enough to get us to the level that we want to go to. Whether you blame him, whether you blame the Glazers, whether it's the players, he is still part of that issue. I don't agree with the notion that he's everything wrong with the club. That, again, is an exaggerated matter. But if Spurs with this starting 11 can play the football they did, dominate the ball like they did, there's no excuse for us not being able to. But he didn't get his midfielder that he needed. Bullshit. It's a nonsense. So look, am I happy with the draw? No, in the overarching scheme of Man United. In the context of this season and where we are, yeah, kinda. I'll take it to a degree. Because I know where we are. I know how bad we are as an overarching team right now. But so much has got to change. So Jim was there today, and I hope he sees it. I want to shout out a few positive things over Man United today for anyone that doesn't think I'm going to do that. Firstly, Rashford's goal. Good finish from Rashford. Brilliant 1-2 from him. Loved it. I'm more looking at the team here. We have won the ball back so regularly this season, especially in our opponent's half, but seldom created a clear scoring opportunity from it. I was actually really proud of the team. They did that. More of the same, please. Well, that was an excellent and well-worked goal. Wonderful play from Rasmus to play it back to Rashford, who, in fairness, in the first 45 minutes, had Porro and Romero absolutely on toast, and he cooked them. I want to shout out Bruno first half. People don't like this term, but I actually think it works quite well. His ability to sense opportunities when players are making runs. They call it scanning now. In my day, scanning was just vision. He has excellent vision. Not always the execution, but excellent vision. First half performance from him. Very, very happy with that one indeed. That's it. That's all I've really got to say. Obviously, like, player-wise, individually, Rasmus Hojlund as well. Look, Rasmus Hojlund today, he's had so much unnecessary criticism this season. He really has. So much unnecessary criticism, I believe. The same people saying the system's dead, the training's dead, the coaching's dead, the team's dead. The player comes in and they go, well, why haven't you changed this and turned us around? Yes, because that's normally what happens. A manager that you say isn't good enough in a system that isn't working buys a new striker and fixes everybody. You can't find me an example where that has happened in football because it doesn't work that way. But he was excellent today, to be fair. He was really, really good. And I think there's a serious player in there. There's a serious football player. There's someone that can finish. The only disappointment I had wasn't even him. It's that after his goal and after a few chances he created, we didn't create anything for him.
It got dominated by Spurs at home. And then I watched Egypt bottle their AFCON opener to Mozambique. I think I'm watching the wrong sport. I ended my stream early. I was about to watch El Clasico. I'm ending it. I'm going on a 2-hour break. I'm not going to watch any more football. I need to find a new sport because what's happening to me right now, watching these dead teams, it's not good anymore. Sir Jim, please, you're sitting up there. I don't expect Sir Jim to be sitting in the stands and watching this game and analyzing it like he's a pundit or he's some analytical guy in this game. You just watched your team play like shit at home. The fans were frustrated. You didn't win the game. Make the wise decision and start with a fresh manager. I don't want to watch this guy anymore. This football that we watched today was haram at all levels. This is haram football, okay? This man, listen, no. I'm going to try to summarize everything real quick within the next 2 minutes because I don't want to dwell on it for too long. The man went against a depleted Spurs team with less quality than us, on paper at least, but he had a game plan. And Ange today proved that when you have a game plan, even if you don't have the right personnel for it for now, you can still get something. And that's what he did today. He dominated the ball. We had this manager. This is how much the Ten Hag is a pussy. He put his right back and left back because he was hoping that let me just shut down Brennan Johnson, not Messi, not Ronaldo, not Neymar, not any of these top, not Mbappe. The man put Aaron Wan-Bissaka on the left to shut down Brennan Johnson. To do that, everyone was like, oh, he kept Brennan Johnson quiet. What happened every time we got the ball? You had nothing going down that left-hand side unless it was a counterattack being played from Bruno to Rashford because you have nothing on the left-hand side. You have a right back who can't even play right back, get shifted to left back. That one time where he had to control the ball and it bounced off him twice and it went to a throw in, that just summed up everything about this player. But I still have fans until this day that rate Aaron Wan-Bissaka and say, oh my God, he really improved under Ten Hag. No, he didn't. Anyways, couldn't keep the ball all game. Everyone in their right sense, at least me and the people I spoke with, were like, what do we change at halftime? Bring on Casemiro at least. Why? Because you know what? Eriksen is dead. We know Eriksen against teams that keep possession and they press, he's not good. If we couldn't build from the back playing with Eriksen, there's no point of keeping him. Just go and shut down in the second half and try to play counterattack for the rest of the game because they had a better game plan than you. What happens in the first minute of the second half? Eriksen once again loses his runner, cut back. We can see it. I've seen this goal. I need to go back. I need someone to make a compilation for me and tell me how many cutbacks we've conceded this season. Because I go to bed nowadays and I just have a nightmare of these cutbacks on repeat for the 8 hours that I'm sleeping. It's the same fucking cutback. If an average person like me can sit here behind the screen and say, we need to take him out because he's not doing anything defensively, and we concede in the first minute in the second half by him not tracking back Bentancur. So if I can see it, why can't the manager see it? And I had people saying, oh, well, if we get some players back from injuries, we're going to look better. Well, Werner just made his debut. Brennan Johnson, not the best option in right wing. Richarlison gets bantered by everyone. Harry Winks. And what's his name in the midfield? Bentancur, I rate Bentancur. What's the other one? Hojlund. Sorry. Bro, they're the same person to me. They're the same thing to me. They're both NPCs, bro. We went against a front line like this and a midfield like this, and they dominate us on and off the ball, bro. It just shows you that at the end of the day, it's coaching. And people still sit here and they try to tell me, no, it's personnel. You need the personnel to win leagues. You need the personnel to push forward and become an elite team. But the basics of a team is the coaching. The basics of a team is having a plan on the pitch. When I am getting outdone by a B-Tech version of Spurs, they didn't have Addison, they didn't have Son, they didn't have Bissouma, they didn't have Papamettis Sarr. And these guys come on today and they do this today. And people still want to make excuses for this manager. This manager's out of his depth. And as I said, he is a pussy because he approached the game trying to shut up shop and he still conceded 2 goals. from Richarlison and Bentancur and conceded. I am so happy we didn't lose this game because the last straw with this manager was losing the halftime record. We are at Old Trafford. We have never lost a game after leading in the first half, and this manager came this close to costing us that record as well. That's one of the records that still stands solid in Europe, and he almost cost us that. There's no future with this team, in my opinion. It doesn't matter who comes off the bench and who's injured and all that. It's nice to see Lissandro come on, play a few balls here and there with Kobe Mainu. Yes, it was easy to see on the eye for a little bit, but at the end of the day, this team has no executed plan. And once again, Ange proved it. Ange proved it in his first season. He cost us 5 points. We only got 1 point off Spurs. In 2024, we're sitting here, we're talking about Spurs only giving us 1 point. And people want to still sit here and make excuses for this manager. To me, I think it's time for a new clean slate. Ineos, once you're confirmed, please do the right thing. Win the fans back on your side by getting rid of this manager.